Welcome to round 25 of WTSS Season 7. We're at the Rockingham Speedway in the United Kingdom, in England. One of the fastest, flat, 1.5 mile ovals you will ever see in the entire world. It's a relic of the past. It's a track type that nobody builds anymore. And it is an absolute thriller every single time the WTSS comes to these grounds. Last race in Le Mans, we saw Yuki Tamura pull one of the most important victories of her entire WTSS career and snipe the point lead from teammate Ryan Reid after Reid had held it for nearly 20 straight races. We now head into this race with just 6 races remaining on the calendar, and Chris Louviere, one of your championship dark horses, has just scored the pole position and Maverick's first pole of the season, with Yuki Tamura down in 17th place and Ryan Reid down in 24th. Could this be the day that Louviere puts his name closer into that championship picture and put himself within conversation talking points? There's many other big oval names at the front that have excelled this season on the speedways, including our most recent first-time winner in the WTSS, Cale Teskar Jr. at Fakisa Freeway, starting in 7th. Sean Angel and Mitchell Marks, still championship hopefuls, though they're way farther back than they would want to be, starting inside the top 11 positions as well. 100 laps at Rockingham Speedway. Let's get to the race. Pace car pulls in here at Rockingham Speedway. 6 races left in the championship, and this one could play a major part in who comes out in the championship picture come the checkered flag. Chris Louviere takes the green, and we're underway in the 25th round of the season. The last race of the European Tour heads through the first corner on this lap. Alex Constantine makes it 3 wide to the bottom on Roberto Crown Jr. and Chris Dodd. Inside into turn number 2. The inside lane is not the preferred line on the exit, but he makes it clear before he gets off the corner, and he's up to 3rd position from 5th, and that throws Season 5 champ Chris Dodd all the way to the top to hemorrhage positions as we come towards the end of lap number 1. We're going to be nearly 4 wide on the exit at turn 4, but they settle it out enough, and lap 1 is led by Chris Louviere. It's going to be almost 3 wide back here with James Gibson, Scott Roush, and Mitchell Mark. Contact back there. Kyle Bachelia and Jake Stevens get into it. These early laps are going to be extremely close quarters, extremely risky. There's so many places where you can end up in a crash here. Everybody's found their way through the first lap and a half. Out front, Louviere continues on the point with Demax directly behind. Tescar's now cracked the top 5 on these opening couple of laps. What about our title contenders? Yuki Tamura looks to have claimed almost 4 positions already, but Ryan Reid, her title rival, and the man who led the points for nearly 20 races this season, has dropped positions on the initial start and is stuck behind teammate Jake Stavanaugh into turn number 1 as Stavanaugh tries to thread the needle 3 wide between Ryan Bolden and Elijah Innes. And into turn number 2 we go. In the middle between the two of them, they get extremely close quarters, and Innes hangs on around the outside to keep the position. James Gibson inside on Mitchell Mark for the 9th position. It's been a very rough season for Gibson and the Procrastination Alliance between himself and Brandon Crasta, but Gibson has been the one who's managed to extract the most out of the equipment this season and is up into the 9th place on a track type that seems to just very suit the setup they've got on that team going. Ryan Reid is still not done falling. He's fallen out of the top 30 now. And the man who just freshly lost the point lead to his own teammate Yuki Tamura is falling even further as he is pinned up on the top of the racetrack and can't find a way down.
Man, he has a lot of work to do. Now, it is lap 5 of 105, so he can get back up there, but yeah, he's got work to do.
Well, we've seen races this season where he's come back from spins and crashes, most notably Bristol. He managed to come back to almost the top 10 in that race. As contact between TJ Curtis up the racetrack right in front of Ryan Reid, and somehow, some way, the 90 car escapes a certain crash as Curtis and Frazier with big contact and damage to both cars. Whew. Well, that got Reid off the top lane.
I do not know how he has that lock, man.
I mean, I don't know. He seems to have avoided it all season long, and right then and there, that was a real testament to some of the fortune he's been able to find this season. And That right there, though, is a proof that anything can happen at any time on a track like this. Oh, wow. Mitchell Mark almost up into the wall, exit of turn 3. He loses all his momentum, and Aiden Shepard flies in behind to attack. That 28 car looks tight. He just cannot turn, and he almost goes up into the wall off of turn 4 as well. So early speed from the 28 is already diminishing here in the opening laps here at Rockingham. Side by side now, Engritz gets through on the 28 through turn 2. And Ray Takada and Yuki Tamura approach now. Tamura in 15th place right now. This is not a double points event, so it's not going to be as big of a dent as she put in Ryan, as it was in Le Mans when she put a huge chunk out of Ryan Reid's championship lead in that event. So 15th place is not going to be a game over for her point lead, especially with Reid back there, but it's still not going to be what she would want, especially with the possibility that Louviere could leave this race third in the championship, given the right circumstances. Oh man, she's playing it so risky. Swings into the outside of Takada through turn 2. Can't clear though, and she throws herself to the wolves on the exit of that off-camber turn 3. Unnecessary risk, in my opinion.
That was so risky. Talking about risk.
Unnecessary risk from our championship leader, in my opinion, there. That completely threw her off balance, and all the positions she gained on the opening lap, and then some, have been lost back for the 60 now. Wow, that is just... She's going to try and get down right here, and she can't on Mark Nutt. Can't find a way down, and she's going to get stuck on the outside again at turn 3. Ryan Reid, though, is not making forward progress. He's falling off the back of the damaged Bobby Fraser car just ahead of him. That is a real testament to a possibility that they just missed the setup on the 90 this weekend. And they did at Le Mans, too. That was what gave Yuki Tamura the opening she needed to take the point lead and win the race. Out front, it is Louviere still, but Eugene Demax is not letting him forget that he's right there in second place. Demax just turned the second fastest lap of the race. Unfortunately, the fastest lap of the race was set by Chris Louviere. So those two are in a class of their own right now in the beginning of this race. We're just about a tenth of the way through this event now. And we've got the top 2 separated by half a second, top 4 by 2.5 seconds, and then it's another 2 seconds from 4th to 5th, and it's a huge train of cars from 6th on back. I definitely feel we're going to see some drivers that have better race setups than qualifying setups start to climb their way up the order. We've seen it this season in a few events so far. One of those drivers, I can already tell, is Sebastian Van Dalen, who qualified second to last, which is uncharacteristic for him this season. The rookie really finding his feet for the most part when it comes to one-lap pace, but that engine failure in qualifying kept him from making any further improvements, but he's already climbed up into the top 30 from the back row of the grid and is attacking former champion Tristan Wilhoit for 28th. Demax is not letting Louviere breathe even for a second. They're both the 2 fastest cars on the racetrack. And the gap has shrunk a little bit. Demax starting to maybe chip away at that 83's lead. Could we possibly see a battle for the lead forming here in the next couple laps? Ryan Reid, still no forward progress from the 90. It is a tale of night and day from the Roush Racing Enterprise camp. Because you have Scott Roush, the team boss and owner-driver, in 9th place, which is better than he's ran pretty much all season on the big ovals. Yuki Tamura, the championship leader, who should be around 15th right now, but with that bad move, falls back to 19th place. And then you have to go all the way back to Reid, Stavinaugh, and Figueroa, their associate car, in 34th, 35th, and 37th. It is either you've got the car hooked up or you don't at all at Roush Racing Enterprises campus right now. Louviere continuing out front with that lead, but it's not a comfortable lead. The gap has shrunk to the closest it's been all race but nobody's turning even close to the lap times that they're both turning. The top two just both ran 34.3s and 34.2s. Other than third and fourth place Constantine and Crown Jr., nobody else is turning 34.5s or quicker. So it is a utter breakaway from the top two out front. And we've seen that in the past here. Most notably, I think season 4 it was, where there was a 2-car breakaway at the front and that resulted in Kelsey Parker's first career victory back then. And that was an immense fight at the end of the race. This track has a way of just pulling in those battles. Gibson on Angel for 7th place. And the 75 car continues his forward charge past one of our title contenders. Ray Takeda versus Mitchell Mark. The 28 car still looks like it's not handling great, but he's able to defend with the outside lane on the exit of turn 2, which puts Takeda on an awkward line, forces McLennan to have to take an evasive action and go to the outside, and that puts him on the disadvantageous line on the outside there into turn 4. And now, it's going to be all sorts of battles going on the run to turn 1 here. Oh, Voiles getting really close and uptight to the back of the 87. And Bichelia finds his way down the inside of the 13, but is that the right call? Yuki Tamura is down the inside of Voiles and makes it stick! I have not seen anybody pull the inside at turn 2 all day and not have to lift off the gas. But Tamura did make it work and pulls off the move to go up into the 18th position. It's one position forward, but it is progress nonetheless. As Gibson has now caught Logan Hill in the 11 and cleared him for 6th place. That 75 car looks wicked fast. Ryan Reid has cleared the Bobby Frazier machine and is now setting his sights on Mitchell Carter for 32nd. So forward progress is finally coming for the former point leader. Oh, Carter almost into the wall on the exit of turn 3. Got extremely tight and up into the dirty stuff on the exit of the turn. And sliding past the 69 car, Ryan Reid gets through on Carter. And look at this huge battle. Takeda has finally gotten Mitchell Mark. Mark Nuts found a way through. McLennan tried to follow but couldn't. Gap hovering still at about a half a second between Demax and Louviere. Neither driver has a clear advantage over the other. But I'll tell you what, right now, James Gibson just turned the fastest lap on the track last time by half a tenth. He may be the fastest car on the racetrack though, but he's 8.5 seconds back. He would have to maintain that pace for the whole green flag run. But I'm not saying it's impossible. Oh, in the wall! Mitchell Mark, exit of turn 2. That car has been fighting tight all day, and it finally bit him into the outside wall on the exit of turn 2 with absolutely massive right side damage on the 28 car that probably will force him to pit. That's absolutely a tire rub. No doubt about it. And a driver who opened off the season winning 2 big ovals in a row has not been able to find that same success in the latter half of the season. He had a good qualifying, he had good start pace, but man, they just did not set that car up right. He's just been fighting tight all day. He's going to continue on. He's going to power through and see if he can make it far enough to put himself within his pit window, which I think would be a smart choice. Just see what you can do. See if you can make it last. Demax is now starting to inch closer to the 83 of Chris Louviere as we're now over 20 laps through this event. 5th of the way through. Scott Roush versus Sean Angel. Battle of the Veterans for 8th place. And Roush is going to clear for that 8th position. Angel's car just doesn't look like he's got that extra little oomph to it to keep climbing through the field. You know who does, though, is James Gibson, who is continually turning about a 10th to a 10th and a half a lap quicker than the race leaders. Give us a caution and a restart, that 75 car could be just right there. Yuki Tamura just turned her fastest lap of this entire event just now with a 5:61, putting her at the 17th fastest lap on the fastest laps chart. But that just tells you how much potential that car's got and how much traffic has been holding her up if she's able to turn her fastest lap on the 24th lap of the race, when tire deg is going to be a real thing that these drivers are going to have to deal with today. Gibson is absolutely flying, but he's probably going to need a caution to aid him. Nearly 3 wide through turn 4. Mitchell Mark looks to have gotten tight again. Lost out to Vita Bassa, and everybody scrambled behind trying to pick up the pieces. William Duncan slipped up to the top, nearly 3 wide, but settles back into position. Oh, and just as he got some forward progress in him, Ryan Reid has lost 2 spots in 1 corner, and possibly 3 if Hujiyan has anything to say about it. And the former title leader is just absolutely collapsing. His contact is made between Hujiyan and Ryan Reid there. They get away without an accident, but he has just been all around the chaos, but the universe has been unable to stop him so far. Lap traffic is going to become a factor for these leaders here shortly. Louviere is already within sight of the 2 car of Daniel Giroux. And that in tow means DeMax as well will be right there. Gibson has caught test car for 5th place. The 75 car is still the fastest car on the racetrack. And as he approaches the 26 of test car, I almost think he's hoping that it's going to be an easy pass. Contact off of turn 1. What a slide from Chanrong Wangswat, and what a save. Oh man, they've been cutting it so close today without accident. But I just have this feeling that one of these times they're not going to be able to save it. Gibson still dealing with Tescar, and that easy pass has not come to him. As right up ahead of the leaders, you see Brandon Crasta being overtaken by Bobby Frazier. Out of turn 4. Curtis now slips past the 63, but Daniel Giroux in the 2 car, who got his first career victory earlier this season on one of the big ovals, really has not found the speed today, and that has been the tale of Ditech Van Dalen's season. They have really had races where they've just shown up with basically useless race cars, and this looks to be one of those ones where Giroux just cannot do anything with what he's been given. And now going a lap down, 29 laps into the event, Louviere gets through on the 2 car.
Man.
DeMax on the inside of Giroux now, but he picked the corner where the inside lane is the toughest to get through on to get past the 2 car, and that's going to give Louviere a little bit of breathing room on that 4 car. Not going to be a lot, but it's a little bit of breathing room. Down the front straightaway we go. And into 1. The 63 car, Season 1 champ Brandon Crasta. The next car he's going to have to go through. How about towards the midfield? Yuki Tamura is in 17th place now, chasing Kyle Bichelia and Jeff McLennan up ahead. And your title leader coming into this race is Gibson is still unable to find a way through on test car. That 75 car is wicked fast, but as has been the tradition all season long for the Procrastination Alliance cars, passing in the corners is the weakness of this team. Could not get past the 26 on the inside lane there. Louviere took a while to get through on the 63 of Crasta, and it's opened the door for DeMax to get within 0.2 of a second of the 83. Exit of turn 3. The 83 hangs on to it for now, but DeMax is closing in. Gibson still unable to find a way through on test car. And I have to imagine he's going to really have to do something creative to get past that 26 car, because he has just been struggling so hard in the corners. Mitchell Mark, I think that tire rub is really starting to affect him. Speaking of tires, the 45 of Arnie Negroho has just lost one. Right front tire failure for the rookie from 23rd place, and he's going to limp it back to the pits. And I don't even think that's within his pit window. It's going to be borderline for the 45 to make it to the end, and the leaders slide past the 45 on the apron there. And you just have to feel for the very successful rookie season he's had. It's just been a lot of bad luck too. But as I was saying, I think Mitchell Mark is starting to feel the effects of that damage, possibly a tire rub that is starting to wear through that tire on the right-hand side of the 28 car, as he is now dropped to 27th place and is under major pressure from cars behind. He's in the wall again. He's in the wall again. That 28 car is so tight, he cannot even keep it out of the wall when he's trying to back off. And I almost have to wonder if that's compounding now. The more that he struggles, the worse it's wearing. Across the line, he's nearly a second and a half off the pace right now. And he's way up the track again through turn 1, and Stavina nearly kisses the left side door of the 28. Almost 3 wide into turn 2 there with Will Hoyt, Hu Jian, and Ryan Reid. But they all keep it civil and in a straight line for now. The top 2 still under a blanket though, between Chris Louviere and Eugene DeMax. But now heavy traffic, and you may notice which car that heavy traffic includes. It's former championship leader Ryan Reid, about to go a lap down on merit, only 36 laps into this race here at Rockingham, and he does. Louviere puts the 90 a lap down, so even if a caution comes out now, he's going to be trapped. Unbelievable. You wouldn't have believed it 2 races ago. But the 90 team are human, and it's finally starting to crack apart. And a massive engine failure for Fabio Vitabassa. Will he be able to limp it back to the pits, or is this going to be a caution? Oh, it's going to be a yellow. Caution is out at Rockingham on lap 38 for Fabio Vitabassa, coming to a stop on the apron, and it's just after Ryan Reid got put a lap down. He'll be the first car 1 lap down, but it is most certainly a dire situation for the 90 team as Louviere takes the caution here at Rockingham. Unreal. Unreal. And you got to feel for Vitabassa. That season is just not gone at all for that team. Any of those guys, Voiles and Vitabassa. It's just been such a miserable watch for them.
Did Reid go a lap down?
Yeah, Ryan Reid, right before the caution, fell a lap down on merit.
That's huge.
That is huge. That is going to separate him and his title rival Yuki Tamura by an entire lap. And for Chris Louviere's sake, that is a driver that he is aiming to pass in the points that he just trapped a lap down. Leaders and lap down cars pitting together here at Rockingham. One of the unique aspects of this event, with how quickly the officials try to get these caution periods cleared out here. Just a thing with the track officials here, their preferences they like. Louviere's into the pits for 4 tires and fuel. Everybody is going to be struggling to make it to the end on fuel to the end. It's going to be touch and go for the rest of this race. If Ryan Reid can clear the 83 out of the pit... No. Never mind. I was going to say, if Reid could beat the 83 out of the pits, he could get himself back onto the lead lap with a wave around, but it didn't work. It's Louviere out of the pits first. DeMax out of the pits second. Crown out of the pits in third. Fourth is James Gibson. Fifth is Tescar. Sixth is Roush. Seventh is Engritz. Eighth is Hill. Ninth is Mark Nutt. 10th is Sean Angel. A mixed up order leaving the pits here at Rockingham. And contact under caution! A miscommunication leaving the pits between Patrick Smith and Alex Benyako has led to a crash exiting the pit lane on the merge.
Unbelievable.
And those two are technical partner teams. Ditech and Ditech Van Dalen, or Ditech Van Dalen and Van Dalen Autosport.
Wow, that is catastrophic. I cannot believe I just saw that.
It looked like Smith was trying to catch back up to the line, and he was trying to, he at the last second tried to swerve away from hitting the 29. He caught him in the right rear quarter panel and spun him up into the outside wall, and you just watched Hu Ji-yan's entire race get wiped out in one moment. One mistake.
Yeah, Hu Ji-yan's not going to be happy with that, and is very justified in my opinion.
Whatever 1% chance she had left of winning this championship is now over. She was the darkest of dark horses in my opinion, and it's now firmly over for the Season 2 champions. She will not repeat. But meanwhile, it is Chris Louviere leading Eugene DeMax, Roberto Crown Jr., James Gibson, and Cale Tescar Jr., the top 5 here at Rockingham. Let's get to the restart. Pace car pulls back in. It's a lap 43 restart here at Rockingham. Louviere out front. As we come to the restart zone, 7 cars on the inside lane, a lap down. We're back underway. Can Ryan Reid stand any chance of fighting his way back onto the lead lap here on the restart? No, he can't. Louviere clears the 90 into turn 1.
Oh, that was a huge restart.
Wow, he's got a 2-car buffer between himself and Eugene DeMax. Possibly 3 if Brandon Krasta has anything to say about it. Wow. That is such a buffer.
The lappers are his best friend right now. It is incredibly important that he cleared the lap cars turn 1 right there.
Not only that, but no one else has been able to. It's now Crown Jr. versus DeMax for the 2nd position. And the rookie, race winner this season, goes up into 2nd place, but he's 1.5 seconds back from the race leader, Chris Louviere. Oh, wow. Lots of close calls at turn 2. If you're Yuki Tamura, you just try to survive right now. Your title rival is a lap down. And it's not a double points race. You're not losing 70 points by running 19th. Just need to breathe and focus. Meanwhile, Gibson in 4th place, looking for one of his best results of the season. He was the quickest car on the racetrack leading up to that caution. Can he maintain that speed? And damage repairs in the pits for Mitchell Carter. Oh, man, Jake Stevens and Jeff McLennan. Stevens runs the 87 up the racetrack without a crash, but that throws the 87 completely wide and loses all his momentum. Wow. This is a home race for Stevens. The only one on the calendar that's a home race for Stevens. It looks like he's driving with purpose right now, but you don't want to get in over your head, especially as a rookie. Oh, Mitchell Carter merges onto the racetrack, almost into the left front fender of Patrick Smith, and the 77 has to completely take evasive action to avoid the 69 car. And he loses almost every position possible on the lead lap. Unreal.
Yeah, that could have been a better merge.
Wow. Mitchell Carter definitely not making friends out there, but I'd almost consider the racing gods to say that is karma for what happened under caution earlier on, as now he's lost out to the driver he turned, Alex Bignacco, and is just ahead of the other driver involved, Huji Yan. Out front, it's 2.6 seconds now, as no one's been able to clear the 3 lappers in between themselves and race leader Chris Louviere. Ryan Reid looks like he might have gotten even worse handling on that car from the pit stops. Oh, wow. Very close quarters there on the exit there between Crown and Reid. Roberto Crown Jr. clears the 90. DeMax and Gibson file right up to the back of him as well. And they're all going to sneak through. And now it's Crown Jr.'s turn to try and pass the 63 of Crasta. Meanwhile, we're about to hit the halfway point of this race. Louviere out front, almost 4 seconds now, the advantage. What an absolute charge he's made from this restart. One of the most important times that he could have cleared the traffic as well on that restart. Tamura is just existing in 21st. Roush Racing Enterprises don't look to have brought a great package across all of their cars today, minus the 6 of Scott Roush, who really appears to be making the most of what he has today. Up in the 5th position now, on a big oval. That is not something you normally see from that camp. And towards the back half of the lead lap, you notice Mitchell Mark, that caution completely bailed him out. He had been struggling on multiple damaged spots on the right-hand side of his car after getting tight and running up into the wall. And probably doesn't look like that car's handling woes have been resolved much after he got really close with the turn 1 exit wall, but he looks to be in a better position now than he was just before that yellow came out, as Scott Roush probably doesn't want to see the fact that he's lapping his second in points driver, Ryan Reid. We're just barely halfway through this race. That is just, they've just gotten everything wrong on that 90 car completely from the moment they unloaded. Crown Jr. still unable to put a dent in Crasta and Nugroho, and as it stands right now, it's 4.5 seconds between first and second place now. Yeah, there it is, 4.5. Wow. That is an unbelievable gap, and that is going to be an extremely difficult gap to overcome.
Yeah, he's going to be hoping that we're going to go green the rest of the way.
Louviere especially would want this because it has been a decent chunk of time since he has won a WTSS race.
Yeah, he is, not to mention he has come so close many times this season and just cannot seem to close the deal. Could this be the day?
There's been a couple times this season he has been within the conversation for the lead in the dying stages of these races, so it is not something that would come out of nowhere. This is something that he has been trying to get all year. Some could argue he even had a chance at Texas before Mitchell Mark wrecked the field, but a lot of those drivers will never know how their days were going to go.
Crown running good on a big speedway again. I think it might be the best run James Gibson's had all season.
It is. You can see the night and day between the two Procrastination Alliance cars, though, because Crasta has obviously not made it work. They've obviously not gone with the right setup direction and have put themselves in the 31st position, a lap down, while their sister car, the Alliance Junior Motorsports car of James Gibson, finds himself 3rd place, majorly pressuring 2nd. Over 5 seconds now out front. And I think the fact of the matter here is the 63 car is so slippery in a straight line that the 46 can't get close enough, it feels like. And that's why Gibson is having such a hard time passing the 46, is because he has the straight line speed, but the cornering has never been there all season for him. You can see how much gap that the 46 makes up on the 63 through the corners there. And then he makes zero forward progress in the draft all the way to turn 4. I think it was more crucial than Chris Louviere even knew to clear these lappers on the restart, because if he'd gotten stuck behind the 63, we might still have the whole field stuck behind him right now. And it could be an absolute brawl for the lead without it. The leaders are going to catch Hujian before this is all said and done. She's running about a 1.5 seconds off the pace. Still meeting minimum speed, of course, but very slow compared to the rest of the field, and is probably going to be like a moving chicane for these guys. Louviere still in the lead, and the longer these guys stay stuck behind the 63 of Crasta and the 45 of Nugroho, the bigger the chances that they could actually end up falling double-digit seconds behind the race leader, which would basically cement, if the race stayed green, that nobody was going to reach it.
Well, yeah, I do believe he has locked up the most laps led bonus. That is huge for his championship.
Yes, absolutely. He's basically led flag to flag. There's been a couple brief moments of pressure from Eugene DeMax during that first run when they were catching lap traffic, but DeMax is stuffed back in 4th place. And James Gibson is hoping and praying that his Alliance teammate Crasta makes it easy for him if he can find a way past that 46, because he's not making it easy for Roberto Crown Jr. The straight line advantage on that Charger is completely stopping any forward progress from the Fingai Saitomi rookie.
Yeah, I have to wonder just what they have in those cars, because it's not like the 46 and 75 are lacking for horsepower.
No, they're not. But we've seen all season, especially at Talladega, these the two sole representatives for Dodge in the field, Crasta and Gibson, have been wicked fast in the straight line department, even in comparison to the whole field, but it is just simply nothing in the corners. And you can see every single time they come through turn number 2, that 46 car pulls right back up to the 63 again. But it's just not enough, because by the time they get back on the power again, the 63 is able to equalize with him, and all that momentum loss is nothing. It's the reason that Nugroho has been unable to break away as well. Alex Constantine almost giving the hurry up to the lead lapper James Gibson there. Constantine must have had an issue in the pits. I swear I remember him being up in the lead in the top 5 fight on the initial start. But that is something that must have gotten missed in the chaos of the pit cycle.
Yeah, probably got hit or something and stalled in the pit lane.
Well, that is very unfortunate for the 64 team, regardless of how it happened. Louviere in the lead, though, 8 seconds out front. I'm not sure who's got the best package out there right now. It's really hard to read if Louviere is actually the fastest car on the racetrack, or if any of these guys behind. Normally, these guys have not had this much trouble clearing the traffic, and, I mean, Constantine is putting some major pressure. Oh, no, Eugene DeMax! Eugene DeMax has blown the engine in the 4 car. He gets to the pit entrance without issue, stays out of the racing line, and another good result this season has been ripped away by mechanical gremlins.
You know, yeah, lucky for Louvier that he managed to get in the pits.
Yeah, that was a big enough engine failure that I think if Demax had had it earlier in the lap, it would have absolutely not made it back to the pits. That was a very important timing for that engine failure for the 83's chances. Oh, it's the second time today I've seen Chanarong Wangzuat cut it so close on the exit of turn 3 there. That's Elijah Innes fighting up towards the top 10. We've not seen that very often this season. He's just about to lose the 10th position right now to Wangzuat, but that one car, they of all the rookies and all the new teams that have come in this season, that, wow, holy moly, have not had, they've been the ones that have had the biggest struggle adapting to this league.
Yeah, well, I was like, how about I mean, yeah, look at Innes, and that's true, but also, yeah, how about Jeff McLennan fighting for a top 10 on a big speedway?
Oh yeah, there he
Like,
is.
like these types of tracks have, like, while Jeff's shown a lot of promise on other track types, the big speedways have been his kryptonite, so to speak.
Yeah, the short tracks and the road courses have really been where he's shined. He's come just shy of victory on both of those track types alone. But it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and you got to adapt as he almost comes up into the side of the one car. Leans on him on the exit of 1. He's not going to be in the preferred line for the exit of 2, but he manages to hold it alongside. Preferred line for the rest of the lap now for the 87. Takes that off camber turn number 3, pushes the 1 up to the outside, and gets through for the 11th position. And his teammate William Duncan files through on the bottom, nearly 3 wide, to follow through on both cars. And Crown Jr., while we weren't looking, has cleared the 63 of Brandon Crasta. And Gibson has been unable to find a way through. And now Crown finally can start to set his sights forward in this race rather than directly out his windshield.
So speaking of looking ahead, my question is, when do you think they're going to pit again if they do?
I'd say if anybody has fuel problems, it's going to be in the last 5 laps of the race. It is very borderline. It is a very similar situation to what we faced in seasons past. Not similar to the miscalculations that took place at Fakisa Freeway, but very similar to situations. I call back to deep cuts like Hockenheim Season 1. I mean, we had cars running out of fuel under caution on the last lap when they were all coming around. It was that close. And frankly, right now, doing the fuel calculations, I have to say, it is going to be on that level if it stays green the whole way. We are going to have guys on fumes coming to the finish line, and I could see people having problems making it all the way, especially depending on how hard you push. Crown Jr. now has to attack Nugroho and has to attack him quick. He's faster than Chris Louvier. We saw that in the couple laps he had of clean air behind that 45. Tamura in the 60 now starting to drift back as well. I almost have to imagine that the two different mechanic teams on the 60 and the 90 cars might have been too focused on each other, and maybe we're adjusting off of each other's setup adjustments rather than focusing on what everybody else in the field were doing, because they are both dropping at about the same rate. Look at Chanarong Wangzuat go. Talk about a turnaround this season. Now battling for 8th place here at Rockingham after nearly winning at Le Mans. This 08 car has become a contender and arguably the fastest driver on that Rocket Atkinson team for the latter half of this season. Everybody else has managed to keep it in one piece and in a straight line as we've now entered the last 30 laps of the race here at Rockingham. And the crowd are beginning to get antsy, seeing that lead by Chris Louvier enter the double digits now. They want to see something happen. They want to see him actually face some competition, but if the racing gods choose not to, they won't give it to him. They won't give that competition. Right now, he's home free without a yellow flag, but like I said, racing gods are the ones that can really throw it into the balance. one thing that didn't get mentioned in the paint scheme preview we had in qualifying, there's actually a second altered livery on the grid this weekend. Axe body spray is known as Lynx over in the United Kingdom and Australia. Specifically those two. Everywhere else, it's due to a copyright infringement with another company that's named Axe in those countries. Nearly 11 seconds now as Louviere approaches Ryan Bolden now, who, you want to talk about a car that's missed the setup today, this is the one right here. He has had no issues all day, no damage on that car, nothing. And he has just been absolutely nowhere on the pace since that restart. Was it a bad adjustment? Was the car already like that and everybody else just adjusted better? I don't know, but it is turned into a hopeless day for the 7 car, and without a caution happening basically in the next 2 laps, it is game over in terms of salvaging anything out of this race. Oh, Jeffrey Finguy getting impatient with Ryan Reid there. He now puts the 90 a lap down, and it just gets worse for the former title leader. And Crown Jr. is still having trouble with Arnie Nugroho, as they catch the 49 of Hu Jian into turn 4. Crown does not get to use that car as a pick to get through. And Mitchell Carter, another driver struggling heavily, about to be in the way possibly as well. Oh, Krasta catches the 49 of Hu Jian at the wrong moment and completely has to check up and just scrunches everybody together. Curtis nearly gets into the back of Gibson into turn 3. Into 4 we go. No positions are changed, as the leaders now deal with the 69 of Mitchell Carter into turns 1 and 2. Oh, they hit! Crown Jr. slides up and doors the 69 of Mitchell Carter. I don't see any visual damage on the cars, but it is so easy to get tire rubs in these things. If that results in one, that's just all on Crown there. It looked like he just wasn't fully focused on what he was doing, and he just drifted up into the side of him on the exit. Nearly 12 seconds now, the gap, as Louviere catches the lapper of Ryan Bolden. And it looks like Bolden's not going to give him too much of a difficult time. Catches him into turn 3, goes down turn 2, goes down the inside and clears the 7 car quite easily there. Status quo has calmed down a bit here in the dying stages here at Rockingham. We still see a forward charging Chanarong Wangzuat though, making a move on Mark Nutt now for 8th place. Big move. Crown Jr. with nothing left to give. I think he burned his tires up, stuck behind the 63, and now, even though he has a better car and a better setup than the 45 in Nugroho, and he's going to easily have a chance to pass him, he just can't utilize it. And that 46 is struggling so hard that the lapper of Alex Constantine, who's possibly trying to show what kind of pace he could have had today, files down the inside of the 46 to get through for the past the second position, but this is just to be the first car 1 lap down here in a moment. And given another restart, he's quick enough. I could see him unlapping himself from Louviere, but it would have to come in the next 10 laps or so, or else we'll have a single file restart from that point onwards. Angel now under pressure from William Duncan for 10th place. And the 66 files through at the last moment. And the 58 unable to get down in front of Bobby Frazier's machine. Yeah, well, that caution bailed Mitchell Mark out from having to go a lap down, but it has not bailed him from a car that just generally doesn't handle very well. And he's back there with Tristan Wilhoit, who, knowing how that is going between him and the team right now, it is just not working out anymore. He got up to second in the championship, made a self-inflicted mistake at Le Mans, and ultimately, I almost think that was the moment that him and the team possibly gave up on a chance at a second championship together. With the leading rumor right now is that he is absolutely leaving Maverick, but to where, we don't know. And with only 5 races left in the season, huge contact between Figueroa and McLennan as he bodies his way past the lapper. I don't see any visual damage on either of those cars either, but it is so easy to get tire rubs, I repeat, in these cars. McLennan now tries the outside at turn 3, but that is just the wrong call. And an over-eager McLennan might have just cost himself numerous positions here if he gets pinned to the top. Voiles finds his way through on the 87, and if I'm McLennan, I get down right now. And he does. He does get down in time. Because they're just about to catch the Mitchell Carter and Huji Yan cars, and that is not something you want to get pinned behind. Tescar has taken third away from James Gibson now. Your winner at Fakisa Freeway. Even without the fuel shortages we had that day, he was still going to win the race. Whoa, 3 wide in turn 1 there. Frazier, Reid, and Angel. They sorted out in one go, but Angel with a very shallow entry into turn 2. And that ultimately results in a bad exit for the seasoned veteran as they head off at turn number 3 with a huge line of cars now. Tescar now approaching the back of Krasta, which is the last car he has to clear before he catches Crown Jr. These two battled for the victory back at Fakisa. So it'll be interesting to see how they face off against each other for P2 today. If a caution came out right now, we're past the point in which we get a double file restart. Chris Louviere can already sigh a bit of a sigh of relief right now, knowing that there would be at least 3 cars in the line in between himself and second place Roberto Crown Jr. in the form of a restart. Now the question being, can it stay green till the end, as Louviere is approaching lap traffic for the second time this race under green in what has been one of the most dominant drives in recent memory in WTSS. First car he's going to lap is teammate Tristan Wilhoit in the 17, winner at Knoxville earlier this season and Season 4 champion. The Mobil 1 car approaches the windshield of the 83. Mitchell Carter and Huji Yan are struggling massively, and race leader Louviere will have to clear those two as well one more time before this is all said and done. So he's not out of the woods yet. There is still always those randomness factors that come into lap traffic clearing that could play a factor, though ultimately they don't normally play a factor, and nor would he want them to. Wang Zawad has now caught the battle for 6th. The 08 car is the fastest car on the racetrack. Wang Zawad is the fastest car on the racetrack. It's too little too late. A restart maybe could nab him top 5, but in terms of getting up towards the front, it's basically over as Louviere flies down the inside of Huji Yan clears the 49, catches teammate Will Hoyt in the 17, squeezes to the outside of turn 3, but does not pick the preferred line and will ultimately have to wait another lap or so to get past his teammate. But I don't think he's in too much of a hurry, is Louvier. He actually manages to stick around the outside of the 17 the whole way through turn 4, which just tells you how bad the 17 actually is handling at the end of this race. Wow, he holds it around the outside of turn 1 too. Into turn 2 we go. Preferred line now for the 83 if he can stay alongside. He cannot. Will Hoyt stays ahead, but now gives the line back to the 83 to cut back down the inside into turn 4. And what was ultimately probably a little bit longer, he would have wanted to get stuck behind his own teammate, but Louvier clears the 17 nonetheless. William Duncan versus Mark Nutt for 9th place in the dying stages of the race. Who comes out on top there? Wong Zawad has caught Finn Guy now for 7th place. And Duncan tries again on Mark Nutt, the reigning champion. Now the question being, do you got enough gasoline in your race car? Haven't seen anybody drop yet, but we saw it at Fakisa. It is always possible. Different circumstances, of course, but always possible.
Well, we're getting to that point.
This is where every single fuel strategist up and down the pit lane is tapping their foot, hoping that they got the numbers crunched right. Tamura, inside on Takeda. And there is always the possibility that everybody could make it, and everybody goes home happy with their fuel calculations, but we know how racing goes, and we know how it has been in the WTSS in the past. I think that there is always the possibility that some people get it wrong. As Mitchell Mark in the 28 is the next car that Louvier will come to encounter into turn 4, as the 28's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad race continues on. Got bailed out by a caution just before he was about to get lapped the first time, but with how the field is running right now, getting bailed out a second time does not look likely. Gibson back on test car, using pseudo teammate Krasta as a pick to try and get back through for 3rd place. And as they head down to turn number 2, give the position back to James Gibson. And Testcar gets swung way wide on the exit of turn 2 and might be vulnerable to Scott Roush for 4th. Louvier biding his time a bit, not too urgent with the 28 of Mitchell Mark as he should be, just taking his time, picking off the traffic. With a 13-second lead, you can basically do anything. You could run the final lap on half throttle and still win that thing. Scott Roush inside on test car into turn 2. He clears for 4th place. Big move for the 6 and a big result incoming for a driver who has really been on a string of bad luck. And we hit the point of no return. Caution comes out now. We end under yellow. The only thing that Chris Louvier has left to worry about is whether or not his fuel man got every drop in it. Three to go this time. Still no takers amongst the whole field.
Everyone thinks they can make it, it seems. Will that actually be the case? I don't know.
Well, here we go. This is normally the moment in truth where a driver or a team makes the decision that it's time to bail out if they really don't think they can make it. Normally, if you're coming to the white flag, it's just try and send it, see if it'll make it. But if it's coming to 2 to go, that's the moment where you can really be like, oh man, I don't think we can. But Louvier bypasses the pit entrance for the second to last time this race. I don't see anybody walking around with their pit signs in the pit lane. I think we might have a full field with a full tank of fuel. Through turn 2 for the second to last time, 13.2 seconds out front. One of the largest margins of lead I've ever seen in a WTSS oval race. We knew the potential was there all season long with Chris Louviere. Every single time we've come to these big ovals, he's been one of the fastest, consistent drivers out there. And without that engine failure at Talladega, his average finish would be in the single digits on big ovals. The white flag falls for the McDonald's machine. 1 lap to go at Rockingham.
He's been struggling qualifying all season, and the moment he finally qualifies at the front, he took that opportunity and seized it.
Well, you know what happens when you qualify out front? You don't have to worry about strategizing passes or when you're going to make your moves. You can just focus out front and do as many qualifying laps as your heart desires. On the run to turn number 4, Maverick Motorsports' qualifying woes appear to be over, at least for this weekend, and Chris Louviere has capitalized completely. Chris Louviere leads all 100 laps to win at Rockingham in one of the most dominant oval performances in series history. Second place is going to go to Crown Jr. Wow. 14 seconds back. Gibson third. Roush and Teskar the top 5. Logan Hill, Jeffrey Fingai, Chanarong Wongzawat, William Duncan, and Mark Nutt, the top 10. Then it's Voiles, Angel, Bichelia, Innes, and Engritz, the top 15. Yuki Tamura settles for 22nd place, but title rival Ryan Reid is 33rd. So she can at least look back on at least something of a positive note after what was a pretty anonymously kind of bad day for her and her team. Eugene DeMax and Fabio Vitabas are the 2 mechanical failure DNFs of this entire race. But all eyes are set on the man who made everybody look silly today and made it back to his pit stall before everybody else had even entered the pit lane to leave the event. And you gotta say, just from the moment he was given the opportunity to lead, from the moment they gave him that good adjustment on the restart and he was able to clear the lappers, he had one mission, and that was to just turn 60 straight qualifying laps, and he did just that. "25 races down, 5 races remain. The title race closes ever further, and we begin to eliminate those at the back of the points order from championship contention. Chris Louviere absolutely dominated. Maverick Motorsports got it right every step of the way, and the 83 team saw the checkered flag first. Congratulations to Chris Louviere, your winner here at Rockingham. We'll see you next race for the beginning of the Australian Tour at Barbagallo for the 26th race on the season.